Guys, it's Coach Gaglione here. This is another edition of our Gags Goals updates. This is our pit stop to 242. This will be a quick one. So if this is your first time stopping by, I'm Coach Gaglione. I'm the owner of Gaglione Strength, and this is my kind of chronicling my weight loss journey. So right now, if you've been following along, a couple of weeks ago, I just did my first competition in the 198 class since 2006. It was my first multiply meet, it was first equipped meet, and I was able to check off a big box. I was able to hit my first 4 times body weight squat. It was my first equipped meet at 198, and I hit an 800-pound squat in the 198 class, weighed in at 197. Took me about 3 years to get down to that weight. I've been as heavy as 340 pounds. Right now, I'm just kind of giving myself a little bit of a diet break from a mental standpoint, also just to kind of put some muscle back on and just be fed. So along the way, so one of the reasons I'm doing this meet at 242, I have not had a successful 800-pound squat at 242 yet. I did get one white light, I guess back in June of this year, or something around there. So I made an attempt at it, was unsuccessful. Didn't get credit from the judges, so it wasn't quite low enough. So I'm using this meet as a tool to just kind of address my goals, but also I guess I give myself a little bit of a diet break. So it is partly a little bit of an excuse to kind of put some weight on and get some muscle back, but one of my goals is to hit an 800-pound squat in 6 different weight classes. I've successfully done 900 at super heavyweight class. I've done 850 at 308, 805 at 275. My best at 242 currently is 770. And then I did an 800-pound squat at the 220 class, which I did at Slingshot Record Breakers last year. And then I did an 800-pound squat at 198 most recently. So I'm very proud of that. So I'll kind of recap the training a little bit. So I've been training for about 2 weeks. I'm really just trying to hold on to my peak. It's not really something I recommend. I do recommend having a little bit more time off in between meets. I like for most lifters to have 12 to 16 weeks in between a meet. And if you're more advanced, just doing a meet twice a year, like every 6 months is good. So you actually have time to kind of heal up and things like that. But I do have some big goals for 2020. I just kind of want to knock this off the bucket list and then kind of move forward. So I'm going to go through the squat, the bench, and the deadlift, and what I've been doing in terms of training the last 2 weeks. So my first kind of squat workout back, I did some back squats versus bands to work on my explosiveness a little bit, work on my acceleration. I did miss an 825 squat pretty close. I kind of got stuck 3/4 of the way up, so I'm just kind of working on accelerating the bar a little bit more. So I worked up. I did smaller jumps, did a bunch of sets of 2, to like a parallel box. And I believe it was either 420 or 430. I don't remember if I had the collars on or not with the blue band. So it was close to, about 600 at the top. Moved pretty well. I was pretty happy with how that was moving. Did some belt squatting like normal. And I'm also starting to kind of build my raw base back up. I've been using the top squat actually in the commercial gym, which is basically just like a detachable safety squat bar. It's a great tool. You can get it. I think I've got mine from Sorinex. But you can just kind of throw it in your trunk and bring it into the commercial gym if you're kind of on the road and you want to use a safety bar. I don't like to squat with a straight bar more than once a week. So if I am going to increase my frequency of squatting, I will definitely use like a safety bar or a top squat tool. So I've been using that, and I've been specifically trying to build my legs back up, and I have been able to put some size back on my legs. So I did some beltless sets at 315, and then I did 3 sets of 5 at 400. I couldn't fit any more weight on the bar at the commercial gym, so that's what I did for that particular day. And then I just filmed some accessory work as well on this particular day, just because I don't normally share that with you guys. So I wanted to kind of show you what I do at the commercial gym. Typically, the way I break up my training, I usually have about 3 days that I train at Gaglione Strength. It's all my heavy stuff, so my primary bench, squat, and deadlift sessions are with the team. And then I usually finish off my accessories at a commercial gym. I've been going to Crunch Fitness. They got some great stuff there. And it's just like a way for me to get some cardio training in and just not be at my place of business. Sometimes it's hard when you have the coach hat on and the business owner hat on. It's hard to kind of go through your accessories quickly. So I usually just do my main work, and I usually save my accessories for another day or later in the day, depending on my schedule. So I did some leg press versus bands. Especially if you have kind of any knee issues and things like that, doing the leg press versus bands is excellent because it kind of makes the strength curve a little bit, and it kind of forces you to kind of contract your quads a little bit more at the top. You can see in the video, I kind of adjust my foot placement depending on if I want to work a little bit more hamstring, a little bit more quad, a little bit more kind of hip involvement. If you want to bring your feet a little bit lower and have a little bit more of a moment arm at the knee, That's going to work the quads a little bit more. So there's different ways you can kind of adjust your feet depending on what muscles you're trying to recruit. And one thing that's been really helpful for me, especially to improve my deadlift and kind of maintain my deadlift strength, has been the barbell back extensions. And then I've also sometimes superset that with like a hip thrust as well. But the barbell back extension, I feel like, is a really good exercise to kind of, again, it's kind of like not quite another deadlift, but if I'm not a big fan of deadlifting more than once a week, but if you want to kind of increase your quote unquote deadlift frequency, I think doing like a 45-degree back extension with a barbell is a great like kind of in-between step if you want to kind of progress to increasing your deadlift frequency. So that's been a staple of mine. I usually do this for higher reps. Sometimes I'll dead stop them off the floor. Sometimes I'll just kind of hover. I think both are valuable. In terms of squats, I had my heaviest squats Thanksgiving morning. I was very grateful for that. Kind of dedicated this workout to my buddy Mike Jenkins, who is a professional strongman. He passed away in 2013. He was a very good friend. He did when we moved to Farmingdale, was our first presenter as well. He took fourth in World's Strongest Man. He was Arnold Classic champion. He beat people like Brian Shaw and Sardrunas Davickas, Derek Poundstone. Rest in peace, Big Mike. So I wanted to dedicate this workout to him. And the reason we did that dedication to him on Thanksgiving morning is that's when I found out the news that he passed. I believe he passed somewhere between like the day before Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving morning. I got the news Thanksgiving morning. Just a great man, just a super nice guy, super humble. So I kind of went a little bit heavier than planned just because I wanted to dedicate this workout to him. I elected to, since I put the weight back on, again, I was about 235-ish that morning. And I'm just trying to maintain around 235 body weight right now, just so the equipment fits where it should be, and also just to increase my chances of just making sure I'm not struggling too much with the 800-pound squat goal. So I wore the same briefs that I've been wearing for 198, and they fit very snug, but they fit great. And I elected to use the Ultra Pro because having the briefs with the canvas suit would be too much at this body weight. So that's why I'm using the Ultra Pro, which worked out really well. So that's the benefit of the adjustable squat suit. If you're going to have fluctuations in your body weight, if you want to compete in multiple weight classes. 700 moved out of a cannon. I had Mel, the exploding llama, call my depth on this day. She came in, which is great, and then I had B-Horn Ratney, who just recently qualified for the XPC finals for the first time, so congrats to him. And Mel just hit her third 1,000-pound total in her third weight class, so she had 1,050 total at 148, so real proud of her. So I was happy that grateful of my teammates for, even though they were resting, they came in to help. 700-pound squat moved like an empty bar. 750 moved like an empty bar as well. I felt really good. I was starting to get a little bit better depth on that particular set. I just stuck with, I could have probably squatted 800 without the reverse bands, but again, that's my planned second attempt. So I just stuck to the plan. So that took some discipline there, but I did 800 with a reverse mini, smashed it. 850 with a monster mini, smash it, which is hopefully like around a planned third attempt. I'll probably take somewhere between 840 and 865, depending on how 800 moves. And anything over 850 would be my second best squat all time. My best squat in competition is 900, so I'd be very, very happy with taking anything over 850. And that would be probably pound for pound, besides the 198 squat, that'd be like my second best squat pound for pound. So that'd be cool. The last time I squatted at 850, I think I weighed in at like 283. That'd be really cool. So that was probably my easiest 850 that I've done in probably the last 2 years. And then I elected to do an overload set. Instead of taking a heavy unrack, I elected to take 900 pounds with the reverse light bands. And this set was dedication to Mike Jenkins, who was also a fantastic squatter, which you don't always see that in the strongman. Usually they're more like suited to deadlifting. Mike was a great squatter. He was excellent with the yoke. I started Mel called me up a little higher on this one, which is okay, just because I was shaking a little bit. You can't really see in the video, but it was in person. I haven't touched 900 pounds in like over 2 years, reverse band or not. So that was really cool to do that. I felt really good. To 20 pounds, 20-pound PR at this body weight. I feel really good about it. It felt great to have. I know it sounds weird I felt awesome to have 900 pounds in my back again. That sounds kind of weird saying it, but it really did. So that was cool. So squats went really well. I'm well on my way to my goal of hitting 800 in my 6 weight class. So cool. I'm excited about that. In terms of bench, my shoulder is still not 100%. I have not touched anything above 155 on a raw bench. So to put that in perspective, and I've just been doing a linear progression. I started, I think, at 135, been progressing my inclines. So yeah, I've been, I've been doing overhead press actually feels the best, which is kind of weird, but just the way that things are working. So I've been working between 135 and 155 on my raw bench, my incline press, and my overhead press. And so I think all this week I've used around 155 for all three of those. I'm just going to, I'm not trying to do a raw bench right now, so I'm just trying to increase my health of my shoulder. I will say though, I was going to take a token bench this meet, but it looks like I'll actually be able to bench in the contest. I've been using the Bench Freak shirt. The way the shirt is most bench shirts cover the delt, provides compression a little higher up. With the Bench Freak shirt, since it's a different style of shirt and different material, it lays over the tricep, so my delt is completely uncovered. So it's actually giving me support while not affecting or putting pressure on my injured area. So it's working out perfect for my personal situation. So I'm excited. I've been feeling good. I believe the first workout, and then Elvis will correct me, but I believe my first workout I used there's multiple settings for the Bench Freak shirt. So instead of jacking up the shirt, you just kind of add in different layers. And that's kind of how you can adjust the shirt. So it's very adjustable. It's very user-friendly. I would say it takes the learning curve out of the bench shirt a little bit. So I think this is going to be a technology that we're going to see more in the future. I think we'll see. It's only approved in a few different federations, but for the Metal Militia meet, it is approved, so I will be using it. So I believe I worked up to 315 with 40 pounds of chain. My first workout in it, again, Elvis will correct me, but it was something around there, and I believe I told him I wasn't allowed to work up to more than 3 plates. My second workout with the Bench Freak band, I was able to use the second setting, and I was able to work up to 315 with 80 pounds of chain, and my top set was a set of 3, which is fantastic, because I haven't handled over 400 pounds since, I only handled 405 once to like a board, not even full range, and this was a full range set, so that felt really good. I haven't tripled over 400 in a long time in a slingshot or anything, so even though it's not a great number for someone my size, it's progress for me, so I'm happy. So I'm thinking I'll be able to open, I might take bigger jumps on the bench. I might go like 365, 405, 455, but I'd like to hit something north of 450 if the shoulder feels good. But definitely I'll be able to hit over 400 this meet, which is good. And again, my goal is to work back up to an over 500-pound bench. My best bench in a shirt is 575. So again, I'm just at the lower body weight. I'd like to hit my best at 242 is 490. So if I can hit something close to that, I'd be very happy. In terms of assistance work, I mentioned before what I'm doing for my roll work. I've also been doing a ton of bamboo bar to kind of work my shoulder stability. That's been really good. I've been doing Spoto bamboo bar, regular bamboo bar, reverse grip, normal grip. And I've been doing the same thing, reverse grip and a supinated grip and a pronated grip for the seal rows as well. So I've been kind of working those up as well. Seal rows, I don't think I've gone past 165. I'm kind of building those back up slowly as well. And the bamboo bar, I've been using like a green kettlebell on each side, which is about a 24 kilo or a 53-pound kettlebell per side. So nothing too earth-shattering there. It's getting a lot of reps in and just trying to make sure that the shoulder's feeling good. In terms of the deadlift, like I mentioned before, since I'm at the heavier body weight, I'm not able to put the briefs on under the canvas, but I'm going to use the canvas for this meet as well. I could probably use the Ultra Pro, but I haven't practiced in it. I'm just comfortable in the canvas. When I pulled 700 in the gym, I was able to do that in the canvas. My best deadlift in a meet is 660 in a canvas, so I'm just comfortable pulling in that suit. At some point, I will, when I get my body weight back down, I will convert back to the jack suit, which I prefer. It's a little bit more pop. But the canvas, it protects the hips really well, and I get a good. I'm able to get a good position in it. I'll be able to do 555, which is like a planned opener for me, and then I did my second attempt of 595 with a reverse mini, not too slow, not too fast. It was okay, and I got a little bit out of position, but I was able to hit a projected third attempt with the reverse monster mini, which is 645. My best deadlift at 242 is 640, so if I could hit anything like 645, 650 at this meet, I'd be very happy with that. At the end of the day, again, my main goal is the squat, but I would like to have a meet performance. I'll talk about what my total goal is for that particular meet. I was also able to hit finished up my deadlifting. Also on this particular day, since I had business meetings with my coach, Paul Reddick, in Shrewsbury, New Jersey, I did the deadlifts a day early, so considering I did those on Wednesday and I was under recovered, I was very happy with that. I was able to do some speed work at the Pit Gym. If you're in the Eatontown, Tinton Falls area, I highly recommend the Pit Gym. Fantastic facility. Gina is she's just a great person. If I lived in New Jersey, like I would, probably pay double or triple the price of what she charges. She's got a great facility and she really cares about her members. She's there probably more than she should. So definitely check out the Pit Gym if you're in the Jersey area. She's been hosting strongman and powerlifting competitions. She's just, I really wish her the best. And I know how hard it is to open up a gym from experience. So definitely give her some support if you're in the dirty Jersey area. Did some speed work on the deadlift platform at the Pit. I did 315. I did the switch hitter deadlifts. So every other set, I did 6 sets of 2, both conventional and sumo stance with some light bands. After that, I did a set of cone deadlifts, which is like a constant tension deadlift. I did these off a deficit. Just kind of hovered. A lot of times with the deadlifts, we kind of eliminate the eccentric. So that could be a good tool for kind of building size and kind of just limiting the amount of weight you do. So I did 1 set of 8 without a belt with 315. I did some belt squatting after that as well. So in terms of goals of the meet, number 1 goal is just squat 800. I'll probably open at like 745 or 735 and then just make a jump to 800 on my second. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I plan on smashing it. Anything above that anything after the 800-pound squat is a bonus. I definitely want to help Benny. Benny's doing his first full meet in some time. If I could hit a PR total, again, I'm really good with some of my individual lifts, but I never was able to put all my good lifts together. All my best lifts together, I would hit like well over a 2,100 pound total, which is respectable, but but my best total to date is 1950. My best total at 242 is 1900. So anything above 1900 would be great. Anything above 1950, I'd be ecstatic. And I think that's very possible. It's amazing what a calorie surplus can do. It's amazing what just being a little bit heavier can do. But in terms of how I'm feeling, definitely a little bit more inflamed in my joints from just the extra carbohydrate, the extra water retention. I feel so much better being under 220. So after this meet, I'm just kind of putting it out there. I probably will never compete in the 242 class again. I'll probably just say either 198 or 220. I really like to keep my body weight under 220 long term. That's where I feel best in terms of health, in terms of moving around, like even just like, doing stuff with my friends and family and my loved ones. I'm just getting out of breath a little bit quicker, and it's only been like a couple of weeks since the meet. So it's amazing how a couple of things I've been learning from this process is it's really easy for me to put weight on. It's not a problem for me. I could put tissue on. I could put weight on like a boss. So you could really fall back into a trap very quickly if you were ever obese. So I think that's really important to note, and it's important to be careful. In terms of conditioning, you could adapt quickly, so you can make gains quickly, but you also can lose it quickly. I'm already feeling like I'm like out of breath from just like not doing my aerobic work and things like that. So and part of it's probably just from being heavier. I think gaining weight the right way, I think, is actually a lot harder than losing weight. I think being in a slight surplus is very difficult. And again, I'm speaking from a person who is more of like an endomorph type body type, who is, typically a little chubbier, typically puts weight on easier. This is not necessarily true for an ectomorph, but so yeah, I just think it's important when it comes in terms of adding muscle. I think it's really important. I think probably even more important than dieting to probably work with a coach, work with your nutrition, because it's really easy to kind of go overboard. If you look at like what Larry Wheels has been doing for his full day of eating, like, he's having to eat some junk and stuff, but he's naturally more of, I guess, the mesomorph, like more of like, athletic kind of body type. So he's going to have to just eat a little dirty to kind of get those calories in. But I think for the long-term health and longevity, I think it's best to kind of just do things slow and steady. I put about 20 pounds on in like 2 weeks, like very quickly. And I don't think that's the most healthy thing to do. But one thing I think that is powerful, and this is, I think, a good learning point, and this is something I've mentioned in the past, but I've never actually done it myself, so it's going to be interesting to see the results. I do think that if you're a competitive powerlifter, the best time to lose weight is probably right after a competition. But a lot of times we're just so, happy that like the prep is over, and so we tend to like eat worse after the meet. So probably the best time to lose weight and drop body fat is right after a competition, even though like a lot of times we're not maybe as dialed in with her diet and things like that. So that's probably the best time to be in a fat loss phase. So doing what I did was not like the best thing because I could have definitely been a lot stronger in 198 if I wasn't training in a deficit. If you can be a little bit under your weight class and kind of build into it. So for example, one of our lifters, Leo, is a good example of this. What he's going to have to do next time. He just missed the Arnold qualifying total by one lift. And if he was able to hit his third bench, I think he would have been able to deadlift what he needed to. He came in very light, like under 215. So like for him, one of the things I recommended was his starting weight is good. So his starting weight could be at 215. But as the training cycle progresses, he should probably try to get up to 220, 225, and maybe even 230, maybe even 235. And then do like a water cut into it. So being in a surplus and building into like really filling out your weight class, I think is excellent, is an excellent idea. So I think for me, like going from a 215 body weight, and then now I'm like about to fill out the the 242 class, being like 235-ish, or if I wanted to do like a cut to 220, I can. Even without a peak, even without like doing a whole program, I'm just feeling so much stronger. So I think if you could build into your weight class going into a meet versus like diet down into the meet, I think that's probably the best strategy for like actual performance. Because then you're kind of fighting like the peaking process, you're fighting all that stuff, and you need those calories to kind of recover and reduce fatigue and all those things. So just something to consider as a strategy, depending on where your starting point is. Obviously, I think the next best thing would obviously just be in like a calorie maintenance going into the contest if you're like close to your weight class. So there's different strategies. Obviously, you should work with your coach, but these are just some things that I feel like I'm learning along the way. But yeah, the diet makes a big difference. And at the end of the day, I think calories and sleep are kind of king for recovery. The micronutrients are important, but the micronutrients are probably more important in terms of health. In terms of recovery and performance, it's probably the calories are probably like the most important thing in terms of your recovery. And obviously like the macronutrient breakdown, how much protein you're getting, how much carbohydrate you're getting, and that sort of thing. So I'm excited. The pit stop for 242, I just got 1 week of training left, and then I'm just going to deload and just do some light stuff the week of the meet. And then we'll kind of, we're going to be a party in Lake George. Me and Benny are going to throw down. We're going to have some fun. So I'm excited. I think he's going to, hit a big squat too. I think he's going to, he might, he's going to be like an 800 squat, 800 bench guy, and that's very rare. So I'm really excited to see him do that. I think that's an awesome accomplishment for him. And I'm just like happy that he's kind of working on his weaknesses. I think it's good to put himself out there because he's a very accomplished bencher. He's one of the best benchers in the world for his weight class. But the fact that he's doing a full meet, I think it just shows a lot of guts. So I give him credit for that. A couple other things, just quick announcements. If you want to learn from my chubby little self, our next seminar is January 11th. It's a Powerlifting for the People seminar. If you want to learn more about our methods and all that, and like a little bit more about our training, just check out the links below right here. And then we also have a deadlift contest coming up February 15th. The iHeart Deadlift Couples Contest. You can have it's a male and female partner. If let's say you're, let's say like I'm lifting and I deadlift 600 pounds and then my partner deadlifts 300 pounds, our total is 900. And that's how we're going to do that contest. That's a fun one. Definitely check out the links below. If you want to support the program, give this a like, subscribe, share the video if you found it helpful. And until next time, guys, stay strong. And we'll see you soon.